Hi again, everyone. So, the other videos, an introduction, if you will, to my new method of videos where I'm kind of laying low and letting who's meant to find this find this. So, today's video is about circumcision. Yay! So, it's something that the universe has kind of been bringing into my field, into my awareness, into my contemplation for a few years now. It came up just through discussions with some male elders, actually, in an appropriate manner, but it made me start thinking about it. And, people who I actually deeply respect. It was a very respectful thing. But I'm Jewish, so for me, it's a very deep consideration, and that I have had to consider for a while, because I've been over 98% of Jews are circumcised. So, it's something that I had to really think about. Like, could my children, if I have children, who knows, be Jewish if they're not circumcised? All this kind of stuff. Could they be accepted into the Jewish community? All this kind of stuff. So at the same time, though, and I'm going to come back to that because I have, there's more information to share on that. But I've been looking into, why did circumcision start in the first place? Because certain biblical laws, we know, stoning people to death for cheating, or who knows what, not everybody's keeping kosher. Certain laws we have not continued to follow. So I thought, why are people circumcised? How did this develop? Not just in Judaism, but, in African Bushmen, in Aboriginals, and different cultures around the world. And what is the effect of this? So what I have understood through my investigating, other ways that I've learned, is that at least back in the day, part of it was because, tribes were traveling and there was not always access to, places to bathe and be clean for stretches of time. And so in those stretches of time, smegma, which is like dead cells, bacteria, would form under the foreskin, which would cause, infections or other, pretty serious issues. So it was, a cultural attribute to do that at that time. However, now we have this great thing called a shower, which is constantly available, and therefore that is not a concern. Cleanliness is, I'm sure everyone can clean themselves perfectly well. There's other research that shows it's because it lowers sex drive, and the older males in the society did not want as much competition, and maybe it even lowers fertility, I'm not sure. But, there was kind of cultural benefits in that way for those who are at the top, if you will. And, let's see. Oh, and in modern science, it is also apparently shown that circumcision does lower the chance of getting STDs, like HIV or UTIs, stuff like this. So, there's that. But on the other, and there's also, I guess, yeah. But on the other hand, there are a lot of deep spiritual concerns with circumcision. So, I'm sure we all know and also I'm just coming at this from the perspective of how can we help heal this society, where have things kind of sneakily gone wrong. Anyways. So I'm very, caring about how can we all become our full bright selves, mission lamp, without having to be unhealthily codependent. So when I think about circumcision, and what I've kind of been shown, is that, an infant boy enters the world with certain protection of his most sensitive, vulnerable area. He has a natural, built-in, beautiful protection system. And then he goes to his parents, who are also supposed to protect him, protect all their children, and, help them be safe in this world and learn how to be in this world. But our world, unfortunately, immediately takes away that perfection in a kind of traumatic way in the hospital. The clamps that are used have been shown to cause crushing, like all kinds of issues. And then after the it's very rough. And then after the surgery, it's extra sensitive. Judaism does things a little bit differently, and I don't even, talk about that too, but, there's more ceremony and intention in it, and sacredness at least. But either way, that's what I would say. It's done, with Judaism, it's done on the 8th day, where there's like this certain protein is there randomly on that day. That's what it says in the Bible. And then in science, there's a protein there, so it actually is the best day you could do it, and it's done in this like really more gentle, loving, this different kind of manner. I'm Jewish, so I know some Jewish friends might be watching this. I'll just, that's what I'll say about that. At least it's held in a way. But, the effect of this circumcision, especially if it's done roughly, is that now that protection is just gone. Bye, protection. and there's no way to get it back, except if you find it by going into another area that will also be wet and protective, if you get my drift. So I think that certainly could cause some unhealthy sexual stuff in our society. It kind of makes sense if you think about it. If something was taken away, you're going to be forced to kind of become codependent and be seeking it where you can get it. So, yeah. And also it's going to cause, either with the parent and a mom, it's going to cause between the child, I would imagine, either like distrust and like withdrawal, or also more dependency. So I just want to, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like we're taking away this thing that was given to, and that the child needs, and we're forcing them, instead of being able to have it intrinsically, an internal safety, an internal whole working system, we're forcing them to get that care from others. So the yin, and I wanted to share about, just take a moment. And if you're a male and this is triggering you a little bit, which, you're alone, so it's okay to feel that way. It's okay. Like, you're watching this for a reason, and there's always some kind of spiritual solution, and knowing is, maybe you already know, but knowing is the best to help with this. So I just wanted to share too, and also I guess feel free to comment below if you want discussion, community. So the yin and the yang symbol, as we know, probably is, it's supposed to represent yin, yan and yin energy. Yin and yang energies, male, which is supposed to be male and female. Now, both energies within themselves carry the energy of the other. So every male has female energy. Every female has male energy. And that's part of what healing this world's going to look like. It's going to be understanding how to each access that and learn from one another, but just knowing that we don't have to be codependent. We can be interdependent. We can learn and we can share and support one another, but we don't have to be codependent. And the circumcision thing, as I've been explaining, is related to that. So, for a male, if you think about part of the yin energy is this it's like this dark, safe, it's like the womb. It's like a dark, safe container. And that's kind of what a foreskin is for the penis. It keeps it in that kind of way. I believe that it is part of a male's intrinsic feminine energy. Oh man, it makes me sad just even talking about this, honestly. But I would say that, and if it's not there, it's going to make things like it's going to make people more hypersensitive and feel more vulnerable and need to protect themselves, and I don't know. Maybe you know better than I do. But either way, I have definitely noticed that there's a vulnerability surrounding it. And I would say if you're listening to this, one more thing I have to, okay. Well, one more thing I have to mention too is that from the research I've seen, when men get circumcised later in life, with modern procedures in medicine and like anesthesia and all these kinds of things, most of the time it's only like 30 minutes to an hour, and it's mild pain most times, and recovery is, maybe up to a month, where you shouldn't do physical activity and do sexy things, and maybe you need more rest time and icing. So as you can see, it's not a major, with modern medicine, most cases, it's not a big deal to do it later in life. So, with that in mind, to give men the option of whether or not they want to do that seems rather logical. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I guess I was gonna say, if you are a male who's been circumcised and you feel that this resonates with you, and the codependency thing, the vulnerability thing, or whatever else that I might have missed, or really anything, maybe you disagree, you can comment that too. But I think people who found this probably resonate. I want to say that you can do spiritual techniques in order to create, even though the physical aspect is not there, you can do energy work to create the equivalent spiritual aspect. And by that, I would recommend just like, going into meditation or whatever your practice is, breathing deep, and just envisioning that you have your own light there, and your own, like protective cocoon light that is coming from within yourself, that which was always yours, that you were born with, that was, taken away, but the energy imprint, you can re-access that regularly, and just imagine that's there, and just know that is still a part of yourself. Yeah, so, and follow your intuition about what you can do. Like, I think coconut oil, other things, like, each to their own, but I will let you have that journey with your intuition. Okay. And yeah, I think that is all I want to say for right now. And I don't mean this to be, yeah. Okay. Peace. Comment below if you feel so safe to do so.